and welcome to what is going to be another video based off a comment. I know everyone says, and I follow this doctrine pretty well myself, not to read the comment section. There's a reason for that. You can do yourself a serious mental damage if you buy into the negative and positive comments on a YouTube or any other social media channel. But this one's relevant. Actually, I hadn't meant for that to be a double entendre, but we're going to be talking about relevance today. Why are we talking about relevance today? Well, I got an interesting comment saying that, hey Chris, you're losing relevance. Relevance is a really tricky one because relevance is to do with the person who is experiencing the irrelativity and not the thing that's causing the irrelativity. It's actually on you to make up your mind whether or not the thing that's currently in your life is worth pursuing. And for example, this comment came up because of Firearms content that I've been putting up. And I've had a few comments come up, I guess justly so, asking, hey, don't you have mental health conditions? Can you even have a firearm? And the answer is yes. I had to clear mental health checks to do this. I had to clear a whole bunch of stuff. I had to prove my track record so that I could own it. And that's a safety precaution on the government's behalf. They don't want people who are mentally unstable owning firearms, and that is completely relevant. That makes perfect sense. But I haven't lost relevance. That's the thing. I haven't lost relevance to me because I'm pursuing the things that not only interest me but enrich my life personally. And this is where people fall into their stumbling block, is they get mad at the thing that seems to be now irrelevant because you haven't progressed at the same rate or the same path as that other thing. You can be in an incredibly loving and caring romantic relationship and then lose touch with the other person as time goes on because your experiences within that relationship as an individual are separate to the other person. And it means that over time, a gradual separation of your moral and ethical guiding principles may occur unless you're communicating properly and checking in with each other. And that means that eventually what you're going to find is that the person who you're with no longer meets that criteria that brought you together in the first place. It's not necessarily a bad thing, and this is where people get tripped up a lot, is that people change based off their life experiences. People make decisions that cause events, and those events cause experiences, and those experiences shape how we view the world and conduct ourselves within that world. And that means that that gradual separation of core values isn't always bad. Sometimes it's, or a lot of the time, it's for the better because your experiences have led you down that path. And the experiences of the other person have led them down a different path. Now, there's all manner of ways in which that can become toxic and horrible. We're not talking about that. The most important thing to remember is that if you find yourself suddenly in a position where the thing that you used to enjoy is now completely irrelevant, perhaps you should consider what is going on for the other party, whoever or whatever that is, and for what's going on for yourself. Because maybe you've evolved really far down the path and you're no longer relevant to them, but it feels like they're no longer relevant to you because they're stagnant. Or the opposite could have happened. Perhaps someone else has made massive headways in a direction that they want to go in their life, and you have decided to sit in a space that's more comfortable for you. Not bad, it's not wrong. And relevance has something quite relevant to do with things like depression. In my experiences, both doing a lot of advocacy work and powering through my own and overcoming it, depression stems from a misalignment with your boundaries and your core values to your environment. A lot of people go on about, oh, it's a chemical imbalance in the brain. And there's literally hardly any evidence outside of a very minute few cases that a chemical imbalance has anything to do with depression. In my experience and what I have seen from other people's experiences, it always stems back to people letting their boundaries first and foremost be crossed because they don't know how to set their boundaries and adhere to them correctly. And The other part is that they'll be in a situation, an environment, or a relationship where they are misaligned ethically and morally with that situation or relationship. And it takes an inordinate amount of energy to let someone cross your boundaries and justify it to yourself, and an inordinate amount of energy to sit in an environment that you know is not correct for you. And that energy consumption from your central nervous system is ultimately what causes depression and keeps you in it. If you're interested in that, I really strongly suggest that you go and find a practitioner, if you're dealing with that, who deals with EMDR. Works really well. That's what I've done. And man, it's like going to the mechanics for your brain. And to the gentleman who left a comment on my YouTube channel, I do actually thank you. It's nice to get provoked into creating a video that I think actually means something. It's very interesting to me, this subject, and I don't hear it talked about very often, so it was a great opportunity to express my opinions and views about it. And hopefully it's given not only you, but many other people who are watching this some idea that, you don't have to be aligned perfectly with everything in the world. You're going to have misalignment, and that's all right.